Have you ever looked at your paycheck, then looked at your bills, and just felt like you're completely stuck, just running in place? It feels like you're working harder than ever, but that sense of real financial comfort, of actually getting ahead, it just seems impossibly far away? Well, I'm here to tell you, you are definitely not alone. Okay, let's get right into this.
On paper, everything looks pretty good. We keep hearing that GDP is growing, wages are supposedly up, but that is just not what most of us are feeling in our day-to-day lives, is it? This huge disconnect is the big mystery we're going to unpack today. Why is there such a massive gap between the official numbers and our own reality? So to answer that, we first have to get a handle on the real price of a comfortable, middle-class life in America today. And I gotta warn you, the numbers we're about to see, they're pretty shocking.
Look, this isn't just about a little bit of inflation. The entire financial game has been fundamentally changed. I mean, the math that worked for our parents' generation, it just doesn't add up anymore. We're not just playing on a different field. We are in a whole new stadium.
So what's the new cost of entry for the American dream? Well, get this. According to the latest data, for a single adult to live comfortably, and I don't mean extravagantly, just comfortably, in a typical city like Austin, Texas, they now need to earn about $95,000 a year. Wow. And what if you're a family of four? The number is just staggering. To hit that same standard middle-class lifestyle in a mid-sized city, say Columbus, Ohio, a household now needs a combined income of $220,000. So, how in the world did we get to such a massive number? Well, it all comes down to a really crucial distinction.
The key to understanding this whole new reality is this giant chasm between what it takes to just survive and what it takes to actually feel secure and, build for the future. And believe me, they are two wildly different things.
So on one hand, you've got the survival wage. This is a number calculated by MIT, and it's the absolute bare minimum you need to cover necessities. We're talking food, housing, transport, with absolutely nothing left over. You're basically one flat tire away from a financial crisis. But then on the other hand, you have the comfortable wage. This is based on that popular 50-30-20 budget rule. So 50% of your money goes to needs, 30% goes to wants like dinner out or a vacation, and then that really crucial 20% goes to savings and paying down debt. That 20%, that is the entire difference between just treading water and actually moving forward.
So let's put some real numbers to this. Back in Columbus, Ohio, that post-tax survival wage for a single person is about $40,000. Yeah, you can get by, but you just can't get ahead. There's no buffer, no safety net, nothing.
But to live comfortably in that same city, using that 50-30-20 rule, you need $85,000. That extra $45,000, that gap, is what we can call the comfort premium. It's literally the price you have to pay for any kind of financial security.
So where is all this money going? Why is that comfort number so incredibly high? Let's do a quick rapid-fire breakdown of the three biggest costs that are just blowing up the modern American budget.
First up, housing. It's the heavy anchor on every single budget. Now think about this. Back in 1985, the median home cost about 3.5 times the median income. Manageable, right? Well, today, that has exploded to 5 times the median income. This gap right here is the single biggest reason why that traditional path to building wealth, buying a home, feels completely out of reach for a whole generation.
Okay, so if housing is the anchor, childcare is the storm that can just sink the family budget. The government says affordable childcare shouldn't cost more than 7% of your income, but the reality, as you can see right here, the average family is spending 22%. For a lot of people, that's like having a second mortgage payment every single month. It's insane. And finally, let's not forget the hidden tax on every single household: utilities. When you add up electricity, water, internet, your phone, the average family is shelling out almost $600 a month. That's a huge fixed cost that you have to pay before you've even bought a single gallon of milk. So, when you start adding all this up, the soaring cost of housing, childcare, utilities, it really starts to explain that psychological disconnect we talked about. It's why the official economic data can say one thing, while our bank accounts are screaming a very different and much more stressful story.
There's actually a name for this feeling: the vibe accession. It's a term that just perfectly captures this bizarre moment we're in, where even if the official numbers look good, the crushing cost of just living makes everyone feel like they're falling behind. It just validates that feeling of unease so many of us have.
And here's the cold, hard data behind that vibe. Total household debt has just ballooned to over $18 trillion, and at the exact same time, the personal savings rate has been chopped in half, dropping to a near record low.
So what does this tell us? It shows us exactly how people are coping. They're financing their comfort. A lot of people are bridging that gap between their income and the insane cost of living with debt. They might have good jobs, nice cars, they look successful on the outside, but they have absolutely no financial cushion. They're what some people call Henrys, high earners, not rich yet. They're living paycheck to paycheck, just at a much higher altitude.
Okay, I know. Those numbers are daunting, but the story does not end there. Understanding the problem is always the first step to solving it. So what are the clear, actionable things you can actually do to start winning this new financial game?
Here are 4 key strategies. First, use geography to your advantage. If you have a job that lets you work remotely, moving from a pricey area to a lower-cost one can be like giving yourself a massive raise overnight. Second, you have to plan for those daycare years. Use every single tax-advantaged account you can, like a dependent care FSA, to soften that blow. Third, get to know the new tax code. There are new deductions out there for things like overtime and auto loan interest that can save your money. And finally, and this is the most important one, pay yourself first. You have to prioritize that 20% savings rate, because true comfort at the end of the day isn't about what you spend, it's about the security you build by saving. So look, the American dream hasn't disappeared, but the price of admission, it has definitely gone way, way up. It demands a much more deliberate, a much more strategic plan than ever before. So the question we'll leave you with is this: what's your plan?